is she works in a bookstore, and apparently she like just doesn't want to leave or travel or go anywhere. She's talking about how all of her friends went away, but even after her dad died, she just stayed there working at that bookstore until finally the owner like fires her. And so not like in a mean way, it's like, I can barely afford payroll and stuff like that. And plus there were 3 vampires, like strangers, that come in and they like ask for the journal, which I thought it was a little weird that, like, yeah, maybe her dad left her a journal, but she had it in her bag. Like, she carries it with her everywhere. Despite the fact that she can't read it, she really doesn't know what it's for or the significance. Like, honestly, because I'm a minimalist, I think if my dad had left me something, I probably would have just thrown it away, because I would have been like, this is just junk, right? Like, clearly he was like scribbling around. It like wasn't something real. But anyways, they start a fire inside of the bookstore. And in the meantime, one of the books glows. It's like a horticulture book. And she's like, is that book glowing? Am I like seeing things? And then she finds out that her 3 aunts, which are the sisters to her dad, or maybe somehow they're related to her. But anyways, they have put almost like a magical nanny cam to like just check on her in case there's any danger. And so she was never part of their world because her dad had fallen in love with a human, and the 2 worlds can never mix. So he decided to go to the human world, and she has magic, but her dad never like had suppressed it or made sure it didn't come out, because apparently if magical people are around normal people, they have weird side effects or it just isn't good for them. So they should be in their own magical land with other magical people. So she goes home, but the vampires are after her. And then she gets like a weird voice where her aunt's like, hey, why don't you... Yeah, she's like, go into the water. And she's like, who are you? And then she rationalizes like, nobody else is going to help me. These are like super creepy guys. So she goes into the water, which I don't even know. Do you know, is that a folklore that vampires can't cross water?
Yeah, that's right. Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I thought they could just swim. Like,
well, it depends on which world you're in, right? Some worlds you have it where, yes, they can go in the water, and some they can't.
I guess I've just never heard that they can't swim. So anyway, so then she goes home. They magically teleport all the ants, and they are like, hey, we're your family. And she's like, I've never heard of you. Who are you? And then apparently in this her everyday life, she only has 1 friend. And so she's like, okay, I guess I will just go with all of you to this magical world. So she goes with them to this magical world. They tell her they own a library. So she's excited about that, and the fact that she's a witch and she can write, spells inside a book. She's a biblio-witch, which means I think whatever she writes comes true, right?
Yeah, super original, really cute that she had that. I really loved that. It was just different, and that makes it really unique, and that's really fun. I like that a lot.
Yeah, for sure. And so anyway, she's at the library. Fast forward, we have a dead victim. We have Duncan, who is at the library. I think he's a poet, and the book he has is cursed, so no one can touch the book. And they call in the police, who is Edwin. And the Grim Reaper's there, who I think is her love interest.
Yeah.
And Jason can confirm this because he's read all the
reviews. Yeah, Jason do. Yeah, let me know that.
And Xavier is there because he needs to collect the soul, and it's a special curse or spell where it hides the soul or steals it, or it steals the soul, I think. So they don't know where the soul is. So fast forward, they go to do some investigating. They go to Alice, who was the last person who checked out the book on curses, but she didn't really need the book. She has like a animal farm or something. And when they go there, she's like, well, I actually loaned the book to the curse breaker. And the curse breaker was like, well, I can't tell you who I needed the curse for because it's like a private confidential client thing. So they find out later it was actually just Dominic, who is a vampire who wanted to have his fangs like a shrinking spell or something like that. And Alice could possibly be the killer. We're not really sure, but Alice has a crow there, and the crow really likes Aurora, and that becomes her familiar.
Love the crow.
Yeah. And she ends up, I don't know. I don't know how the money works in this world, but they were like, we'll just send the bill over to the library.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then fast forward, we have victim number 2, who is Tad, who also was in the reading room. He's like just hanging out, and nobody knows why he was killed, but it looks like he was killed by the same thing. And in the meantime,
that was the magical paper, just like he touched the paper and it was Yeah. So that
That's
was
when they figured out it was the paper, not the book,
not the book.
that
Yeah.
was cursed. Yeah. And let's see. Let me check on comments here because I'm just going on and on.
I don't seem to have comment ability. That's something that's new. Do you see anything to touch over there?
I see the comments on the right. Maybe you don't see them because you're like the guest versus like the owner of the account.
Well, it says private chat and comments. I usually be able to see it, but I can't for some reason click the comments to actually see the comments. I can just see the private. I'm gonna do just say test and see what happens.
Private chat. You're in the private chat section.
I know. I see that
comments at the top.
Nope, I see it, but I'm clicking, but it's not doing anything. So that's so crazy.
That's weird. Yeah, it says that we have 0 attendees, so I think there's something wrong with.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Clearly,
sorry.
people are here.
All right, guys. Well, sorry about that.
Oh, Jason, there was a bundle of books 1 to 3 on Audible. Oh, that's even better.
Oh,
that's
good. Okay, that's good to know that.
And then 4 to 6. And then it can back to 7 9. Oh, I see. Yeah, that's a better deal just to buy one bundle audio.
I like that. And then you just continue it too. I like that. That's awesome.
Trisha, the narrator's accent. You know, it's funny. I listened to it at 3.5 speed, so I don't think I heard the accent, but you did, right, Cindy?
I can only do 2 and 2 speed, and yeah, I can still hear it. I hated it. I hated it. Hated it.
It didn't bother me.
That accent threw me so bad, you guys. I text, we call it message Lisa so many times. It just messed with me because it made her feel like a miser, or not a miser. What did I call the lady?
I don't remember. You just didn't like it.
Older person, and I was just like, no, and it just messed with me so much. But there were a lot that I did like about it.
Was she supposed to be British? Is that what the accent was?
I think so.
British.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, so, I didn't really.
Which kind of fits for the whole cozy English guard kind of feel like that. And I love like the structure of it and everything. All the characters that she threw in where you thought that you had no idea who was the bad guy. I swear I thought that it was the original owner. So it really threw me when it ended up being Samson at the end. And when there was the Grim Reaper came along, his name is Xavier. When he came along, I really I was like, oh, there's my romance part. So at least I got a little bit, even though there was zero romance in there at all, but there was this partnership. I felt like that fulfilled something for me because I do prefer romance in my readings. But I did like that. I like that a lot. I thought it was different. Does anybody, because I wish we can you see somebody? You can see it, right?
I can see everything.
Okay, you can see the comment. I can't see your comments. You guys.
Jason, love the book title, Lisa. Is that a new one? Oh, underneath me. Yes. The Witch Wears Prada was a new book that came out, I think last month or the month before. So it's just a short Halloween story.
Yeah, but that's a really cute. It's super cute title for sure. For sure.
Velma, sisters. Yeah, the sisters. They were sisters.
Yeah. Did you guys, were you surprised with was it the grandmother that had the vampire in the basement? That was her love interest?
Oh yeah, that was kind of creepy. Like he's been asleep the whole time. Like I don't know.
Or she's just
the vampire rules are weird.
I think she is sneaking him around in her world is what it is. But
so why didn't he wake up? The grandmother's been dead for years.
Oh. I don't know.
So that was weird. Jamie Lynn.
I love that. I know Jet the Crow. Jet. Yeah, that was great. I like that.
Jet is cool. He was very cool.
Yeah.
Velma. I'm on book 2. Yeah, I really like the series. Yeah, let us know in the comments. Like, what did you give this book?
Yeah.
Out of 5 stars. Like 1 being the worst, 5 being the best. I gave it a 5-star. Like, I love this book. I thought it was cute. I thought it had like cute family members. I thought it had good like magic world building. It had a good mystery. I liked the town. I especially really liked the Grim Reaper. I thought that was something unique that, versus her just falling in love with the sheriff.
Yeah.
Like it was so obvious. Like right away. At first I was like, oh, Edwin's going to be like the love interest, the police guy, but not at all. He never showed up like maybe one more time.
I like that. I'm not going for the vampire. I'm going for the bigger monster, the Grim Reaper. Yeah, that was good. Yeah.
Jason, Trisha, I've heard that narrator, so it didn't faze me. Yeah, the narrator didn't faze me at all. I actually it was so funny because I loved it, and Cindy's like, I can't stand the narrator.
Oh my gosh, guys, it was so weird. I don't understand. Like, I think sometimes when I start off reading something and then I switch to Audible, which is what I did, I think that messed with me. I think I was hearing of her voice in one thing, and then when it switched to that, and whatever.
You had a thing in your mind, like how you wanted it to sound.
I did, yeah, for sure. But that didn't affect my review of it at all.
Patricia, I like the narrator, but didn't like the accent.
The accent, yeah, yeah. Her writing was really tight, so sometimes really tight writing can feel really stiff. And I think that was part of it as well, a little bit. I think I wanted her writing to be a little looser, but no, it was great, like structure wise and everything. It was really good. I gave it 4 stars again, just because there were some few things that messed with me. I think I wanted her to react a lot more when a vampire's there, when magic happens to her, and I think we just
that's a good point. Things just kind of happened, but she didn't really have a strong reaction.
And with everything, the whole thing, she didn't have this. She didn't tap into that visceral type of a feeling of fear, and my heart's racing and my mouth is dry and my knees are going to give out, and what's those kind of things. And she just and then she of course leaves her world to go into another world. I think in the beginning, that she's not in her own realm, right? She's like fish out of water, even in the real world. So then she finds herself, and that's the last sentence that in the book, as it says, that I finally found my place, which is lovely. We all want to find our place in the world, so I could really identify with her with that. So I still gave it a 4, and I think if I would have just continued reading it as well, maybe. In my own way, then I think maybe I might have given it a little bit higher. But I would like to have a little bit more emotions, I think, with it.
Yeah, I guess I just kind of saw her because she only had one friend that she tried calling once, and then that was it. And because she had never left the town, I just kind of saw her as a happy-go-lucky, mousy. She didn't really have a strong passion or personality for anything. So I guess I didn't notice because I just kind of felt like her personality is a little flatter than some rambunctious kind of person.
So. And I think that too with Jet. I think if we would have seen her with Jet hold him, stroke him, bond with him a little bit, he was there and he may have given her some information, but I didn't feel like he's not, I've had a bird as pet for 8 years. They're super lovey. She could have snuggled with him. He would have laid down with her and everything. So she could have, had some little moment there. I would have liked to have seen that. But again, you guys those of you who are reading ahead, does she come out? Does she, start to feel this connection and open up a little bit? Let herself feel. Does that don't come on? Any of you guys?
See the rating. So Jamie Lowe is different from my usual reads. Jason solid 4. Trisha 3 because of the accent.
Trisha, yes, I get it.
Marilyn 4 stars. Velma 4. I think book 2 is better. Okay, so it does get better. Okay. Jamie Lynn, I would have to say 4. Would have liked more of a backstory. Yeah. Michael, I give it 4.5. We'll read more when I get the time to. Okay. All right. Yeah. I mean, Michael, I never do audiobooks. Would rather listen to the voice inside my head.
I think that's great too. I agree. Yep.
Jamie said I agree too. Yeah. What about Cass? Yeah, Cass was really mean in the book, like for no reason though. Like I feel like they could have given her maybe her dad had done something to her, or her return meant something to her stature in the royal biblio witch. I mean, I feel like she was just mean just to be mean. It just was kind of out of nowhere.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, I think that if she would have, again, it's that backstory. You don't know why she's mean. What happened? Did her dad? They're related. Were they related? They weren't related, right? But that was
everybody was related. Yeah,
right? That
Cass was Adelaide's daughter. And there was that scene where her dad came back, Elliot. He used to live at the library, but Adelaide and Elliot are divorced now, I believe.
Okay, got it.
Oh, and they were still fighting. They fought all the time.
So maybe that's why Cass has that tension still.
Yeah.
For some reason.
Oh, wait, here it is. Jason. Cass has her reasons, but it's definitely a personality issue. She prefers animals to humans. Oh, that's right. Because so Jet flies over to her and she's like, oh, and she's like annoyed. She's like, oh, I guess Jet likes you. And she's like, oh, all animals like me. And then, which I guess is Cass's thing, animals. Yeah. But Jamie Lynn's right. Jet kept disappearing. I guess for me, I'm used to the familiar being a cat. It's fine if it's a crow, but I wanted the crow to do something crowish, right? Like you always see there's a murder of crows. Like the crow should have attacked the vampire when she got, almost killed. The crow should have come to her rescue, or the whole point of having a flying familiar is it can fly in like Superman and save the day, and it did nothing.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep. Yeah, for
It
sure.
was just like, hey, it's a crow. But
yeah,
that's
it could have flown around in the bookshelves and seen some other glowy things. Somebody hiding. It could have seen. Yeah, there could have been a whole bunch of things that happened. And maybe not. Well,
hello, Hitchcock. Right?
Jet kept disappearing. That's right. He did keep disappearing. Yeah, he was there for a few flashes, and then he was like, okay, where did he go? So
weren't they crows inside Hitchcock's birds?
Yep.
Yeah. So they could have been, that bird could have been like super like strong and tough and like saved her. I don't know.
So maybe that
Trisha, Jet helped at the end. Yeah. I guess at the very end.
Yeah. Which is something. But then maybe he'll continue as a kid, because I didn't read the second book, so maybe he'll continue as the series goes, and they'll get to see that bond. Jet helped. Yeah, he did. Yeah.
I mean, did anybody? I don't think so. When we found out that Seamus was a killer, and he was mad because he felt like the first victim had, what's the name of the victim? Was it Duncan was stealing his stuff? I didn't really get the sense that he was upset about that. Right? He like checked books out from the library. He never returned them. He'd write in the margins.
Yeah.
But nothing was really talked about, like him worrying about people plagiarizing his work. Like it just seemed out of nowhere that he was angry and wanted to kill Duncan for that. Right? I feel like we didn't really get that, unless somebody else did. I didn't really. It like totally went over my head. I was like, wait, why? What?
Yeah. Just pulled him right out of the hat.
Yeah.
Honestly, that's all it was. So yeah, there definitely could have been some more red herrings with that.
A little more clues to like help us figure out.
Yeah, not red herrings, but actual clues. Yeah, there could have been that, and that's where Jet could have come in.
Yeah.
Or when she's in the witchy library, maybe she finds something. There could have been a few things for sure.
Yeah, for sure. Like everybody else was a suspect except for Samson. Right? Like, I would never. I didn't even guess. Like when I found out he was the killer, I was like, oh, I forgot that he was really a character.
Yeah.
in the book. Yeah. Trisha agrees that reason sucked. Yeah. It was just weird. Like, if anything, he would have, I thought he might, it would be maybe Aunt Candace, who writes books, would be upset that someone was like stealing her work or plagiarizing.
That makes sense, right?
She's the only one that was a writer in this book.
Yeah.
Jamie Lynn. I would have been thankful that someone had poetry.
That is pretty funny.
It was all bad.
Oh, that's great.
Okay, Jason, are you still here? You haven't told us if there is a romance with Xavier, the Grim Reaper. Because really there's no reason for the Grim Reaper to stop by unless more soul like stealing curses get put on people. Otherwise, I don't know. I don't know where Grim Reapers hang out. Right? They just hang around dead people.
It seemed like a witchy underground town like Hogwarts. So I was surprised to see the regular monsters there. I would have thought to see some kind of, but then I guess the Soul Eaters were in Hogwarts. So, here you have Grim Reapers. So, okay. So maybe that does work. They just happen to exist in that world.
Yeah. Here we go.
Of
Jason.
Of course.
He's not the Grim Reaper.
Oh. Well, now
don't ruin it.
Says don't ruin it.
He's just a Reaper. Okay.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
Marta. Sorry, I was only doing homework with my grandson. Oh, you just joined. All right, okay. No worries.
No worries. Yep.
What else we want to talk about this book? I think just in general, I agree with whoever said there wasn't enough backstory. Like, I get it. Like, she just found out about her dad and that she's magical. Right away, they have her sitting for that exam so she can get her license, so she can start practicing magic or get a wand or whatever it is. But if her Aunt Candace wrote a book about the love affair between her dad and her mom, I would think like that would be the first thing I'd read at the library. She never even tries to read it.
Yeah, that's interesting.
So,
well, again, maybe because all these other things are happening, it's not time to sit down and read something even more emotional. I'm still dealing with, there's a vampire, or the vampires hunting me. I'm in a new world. I've got some, other characters, and I'm magical, and I have no idea how wrong my magic could go. If I write the wrong thing, I could really screw with somebody. I don't know if we really saw that. Do we really see that in there? That did she write anything that went wrong, haywire? Because we should see that. We should have.
Nothing went wrong. I think when she said she wanted to fly, she kept going up to
Going
new
up, yeah.
flights, but then she ran into Cass, and Cass is like, "What are you doing?" She's like, "Nothing." And then that was it. That was like, it was like, wasn't a big deal.
Yeah.
What else?
Oh, shoot.
Yeah, nothing really went wrong. She kind of just wrote stuff. Nobody, and also if you think about it, she worked at a bookstore before, right? So we're
Yeah.
thinking she really likes books and learning from books. I would have been reading a bunch of books like, what are vampires? What are their weaknesses? Especially if they're trying to kill me.
Yeah.
Right?
I think if we had a moment where it slowed down, where you could, again, you could allow her just to step back and to have a chapter or two where she is dealing with what's going on with her, or she's exploring, that she could have definitely had that. I call that the Twilight moment when Bella tries to go look in the library for Edward, for the cold skin people. Yeah. Something like that would have worked. No,
oh, the Reaper. Boss. No, his boss. That's right. His Reaper is the boss, and he's like, I'm just a Reaper, like a like an what do you say? I'm like an angry or annoyed Reaper or something.
Yeah. No, you mean Xavier's boss is just Reaper.
No, Reaper. Xavier is just a Reaper. His boss is the Grim Reaper.
Oh, okay. Thank you for clearing that up, because I did not get that either. I have my notes that he's the Grim Reaper. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not hip to like Reaper hierarchy. I didn't realize there's only one Grim Reaper.
No, I would think there would be more than one. But I guess maybe
like in this world there was one.
Yeah, well, it's fine. That's fine. Yeah.
Marta, I thought that was weird too. Oh, I see. He's an apprentice to the Reaper. Maybe it's like that one story, remember Dead to Me, where there were like all those mini Reapers that were recruited. Do you remember that show from the 90s? It's so old. She like dies and they're like, okay, you can be a Reaper, or you end up in purgatory or hell or something like that. Jamie Lynn, she doesn't even show how much anger. She doesn't show much anger over the lies. Right?
Yes, it's a lack of emotion. She doesn't have a lot of it or anything in any kind of feeling. So yeah, I saw that and noticed that for sure.
Yeah, and also if she's magical, I'd be annoyed at the people that are still alive. Like, what took you so long? I've been hanging out for 3 years doing nothing. Right.
Well, that book was looking at, what do you call it? Spying on her. So she didn't show any magical properties. So what's the point, right? Because she's half human. So
I thought they knew she was magical. Oh, so it's only because she was in danger that they knew she was magical.
That it happened, I think. So.
Marta, she is oblivious about the whole magic thing.
Yes. Yeah.
Jamie Lynn, exactly.
Love that show.
Don't touch me. Yeah, it was really good.
I thought. Yeah.
Oh, right. She had just turned 25. Yeah, I think I don't know why they needed the 3 years to pass since his death. Like maybe they need that for later. Because she definitely sounded like she just got out of high school or college.
Right? I thought it was college. So I saw her as that old. It just, the voice threw me like she was like a 40-year-old. So that, not that 40 is bad, but just that in that kind of context.
Or tricks the library plays on her. Yeah, she's just kind of like, whatever. I would be like punching the library. I don't know, getting back at the library, unshelving the books and throwing them around to like show. Marta, I kept thinking she was 12 or 14. Oh,
wow, really young. Marta, do you read a lot of YA?
Yeah, maybe it sounded more like a young adult book to her.
I don't know. Can they hear me?
Yeah, they can hear you.
Okay.
It takes them a while to hear it and then for the response to come in.
Because like I said, I can't see the comments, so kind of throw me like.
You can see them when I post them, right?
Yeah, I can.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Jamie Lynn, you're so right, Velma.
Yeah.
So. Trisha, the tricks were funny. Yeah, they were supposed to be funny. I like them. Like when she was like, she was like in the slide, and he's like, oh, that's because when people first start showing magic, it's because they're 5 years old. So it's taking you to kindergarten with the slide. So.
Oh, that's funny.
Marta Morrison.
Yeah. I asked her if she read YA. I think that's what she's answering.
Oh, yes. She was YA. I haven't even read. Do you still read YA?
Occasionally. Yeah, occasionally I do. I that's where I started. I love YA, but then I switched to NA, which is new adult. I love college age, everything first. All the first that college age people do. I love that. I love writing about that.
I've been trying. I can't read. There's like some YA books where I'm like, this is going to be so good. But then they're so like, I guess, I don't want to say silly. Like the things they're upset about are just so trivial. I don't really get into it. And they haven't done a good job of like making me feel like it's a big deal. So I'm always like, going back to regular thrillers and
Yeah, yeah.
Adult book.
I prefer romantic suspense, like thriller type stuff. Yeah, I like that a lot.
Marta, I'm a retired teacher and read a lot of middle grade.
Oh, okay, okay.
Now, I do like middle grade. I know that sounds weird. I like middle grade now
Oh my God,
more than
love
young
middle grade.
adult.
Yep. Yep, love
I'm not even
middle
sure
grade.
what that is.
YA.
And Jamie, really, I pictured her
Yes,
like
that's the word I was looking for. It was spinster. Yes, exactly. So then it just threw me. How I was picturing her, everything just messed with me after that. Once I heard the voice. So weird.
Is it spinster? Or is it more like do you ever watch that show Legends of Tomorrow, DC Comics? No.
Sounds familiar.
Oh my God, I love that show. So anyways, so there's this one character on there. So everyone like pairs up with somebody and has romances here and there, but there's one character that doesn't. And so her friend's like, you know what? You are asexual. She's like, you're just not interested at all in either one. It's not like you're gay or you're anything. You're not interested, right? And I feel like that's what this character was. She was just not interested, right?
Yeah.
Like she never really talked about anything or had sparks. It was almost like in the middle of the book, she had to defend herself. She's like, oh yeah, I did date once and it was, not that serious. And that was it. And it's like all something. Romance. Like every book, like the character, they don't have to be boy crazy, but usually there's a spark with someone or they kind of notice something. And she like didn't notice anything.
Yeah. Well, I think she noticed the Reaper. So she started dropping that's like a tiny bit, but it's something, at least you feel like something. And again, I wouldn't care which way she went as long as she noticed somebody. Yeah. She's feeling something, Well,
sometimes in books, they're like, I guess she should have been like, where does he hang out? Like, have you seen him date anyone? Like, how old is he? Right? Things that you start asking about somebody.
The sisters, they live there in the library, the library town. Sorry, you guys, it's really allergy stuff here. She live in the library in the other town, but she could have asked her aunts, or I call them her aunts.
Yeah,
asked her aunts, hey, who is he? Is he around here? Is he with anybody? She could have asked him a few things. But then again, there's that situation where you have a dead person and you have all these things. So maybe there's no time for that. I don't know. Isn't there? There's always time to notice.
Yeah.
So.
Marta,
I love middle grade.
You know what I think I love about middle grade? And it's not even like it's more because they focus on friendships and they have really good ones, right? And like friend angsty things that happen and like bonding, like soul sisters kind of thing. So I think that's why I like middle grade.
I fell in love with, I can't remember Margaret's last name, but it is The Hidden Children, and it was a middle grade, and I fell in love with that series. I've read all those books and love it. Yeah, also my kids were young, and my kids are grown now, but yeah, it was really good.
Romance. Jamie Lynn, Dominic could be a serious love interest though. Oh, the vampire. Yes, that's true. You could.
I thought the vampire might have been, again, that's who she was going to be. So when she started noticing Xavier, then I was like, oh, it's a switch up. Okay, that's fine.
I guess because she wasn't really strong, girly, romance, angsty, we couldn't really tell, right? Like if she liked either one. Trisha, he was with Aunt Candace, though. Oh. I missed that. I didn't even know Aunt Candace was dating Dominic.
Oh, no, at the didn't they say something like that? Now you just said that. Now I kind of think that there was something mentioned. Okay, thank you, Trisha, for clearing that.
Yeah, thanks. I totally skipped over that.
Like, oops.
Jamie, have you started the second one? Yeah. All right. So is there anything else? I think we've talked about this a lot. Anything else we want to talk about? I mean, nobody else had a familiar. Sylvester was the owl who was like the familiar for the whole family. But then they said that usually family members don't share familiars. So I thought that was interesting. And I don't think we know who Cass's familiar is, which is odd because she's the one that supposedly loves animals. And animals, she's all about animals, but she doesn't have a familiar.
Well, maybe as the books go on, we'll learn. I know, but it sounds like
she goes through men. Maybe.
Okay.
Marta, yes, he is. Okay. When they were in jail, Dominic went to go help Candace. Okay. At the end, yeah,
I think so.
I noticed that. All right. Okay, then. I think that's it. Should we just go ahead and announce the book that won for next month?
Yes, for sure.
Yeah. So next month's theme is Halloween. And the winner is Morgana Best's Pumpkin Spells. It's like a tongue twister.
Okay.
And the good news is 2 things. One, the book is free. So you can just go ahead and read. So the only catch is, and I want to make sure everyone understands this, the book is free if you go to the link that I have, which is on her own website. However, whenever you buy a book that is not originally purchased through Amazon Kindle, Alexa cannot read it. So this book, I don't think it had an audiobook component. So the only way to get it read to you is to buy it on Amazon. So then Alexa can read it to you. So I've done that too, where I'm like, oh my God, it's a free book. And then I'm like, why won't Kindle read it to Alexa read it to me? It's here on my Kindle app. I don't know why Amazon just won't recognize the book, even though it's a known book. So keep that in mind for those of you. And I know there's many of you who like listening to audio.
Yep.
So anyway, so that is our book for next month. The theme is Halloween. And yes, it's in the middle of the series. I think it's like book 10 or book 11. But the good news is, like I said, book 1 is free. So you could download that free from her site, or if you want it read to you, make sure you buy it on Amazon. And then she is doing a giveaway for books 1 through 3, the box set. So Cindy, you want to give me a number between 1 and 20?
How about 17?
Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. Jamie Lynn Hansen, you won the book. Let me write that down before I forget. I think I have your email, but send me an email anyway to lisa@lisaseifert.com. And I'll make sure to get that over to Morgana and make sure that you get your book. So, oh, there were some more comments. Marta, she was an enigma to me. Cass? Yeah, Candace, Cass, all of them. I kind of like Sylvester as a character, the owl. Yeah, I like that. The owl had a personality. He was good. Yeah. Jamie Lynn, Adelaide's ex-husband. Adelaide's ex-husband, Elliot. I thought his name was Elliot. That's me. All right. Way to go. Congrats. Yay. All right. I have your email. Okay, cool. Awesome. Well, thank you everybody for showing up for book club tonight.
And thank you guys for having me for the last few months, stepping in for Molly. I know Molly will come back next
yes.
Molly, time. Yep.
Back from maternity leave.
I'll be in New York at Tempted and Tantalizing author reader event. So I'll be signing in New York. So it's basically, I think it's NYC in New York City, TNT.com, I think is the website. Okay. And if you guys live near New York, there's tickets. You can come. I'd love to see you and meet you. So.
Yeah, that's exciting because they got rid of BookCon, which was
They did. Well, they did bring another kind of thing back. But I haven't been to that one. I usually go just to New York. I love the New York one. It's so much fun. It's really fun. Yeah.
Yeah. And then you should go to, so Baked by Melissa are my favorite cupcakes. They now have ice cream.
Oh,
so you should go try that. I bet those are really good.
I bet.
All right. Bye, everyone.
Bye.